Good evening, all. We'll start shortly. All right, so let's start with our weekly session, week ahead of the Religare Technicals. In this webinar, we talk about markets, the performance of the passing week, followed by our view, what we are anticipating in the coming week, some of the stocks which should be on your radar, followed by a quick feedback poll, and then Q&A. So let's start with a disclaimer first that the information that we share during this presentation is for educational purpose. It's not a trading or an investment recommendation. So before taking any position for trading or investment, please check with the financial advisor. All right. So a volatile week means it was till today, it was a okay week, means we were seeing that index was trading with a positive bias. But sharp cut on Friday, nearly 1%, engulfed all the gains and market ended almost in the flat note. So both Nifty and Sensex, as you can see, ended with nearly 0.25% gain of gains. Sectoral mixed trend here also, wherein financial services, auto, banking, energy, pharma, they were on the performing side, while IT, media, FMCG, and reality, they've ended in red. On stock-specific front, when it comes to the Nifty 50 basket, across sectors, means from the auto space, it was M&M, then Power Grid, Grasim, Coal India, SBI. So we had, diversified, buying during the week. At the same time, HCL Tech, Apollo Hospital, SDFC Life, Bharti Airtel, and Kotak Bank, they witnessed sharp cuts, especially HCL Tech post numbers. So this was the summary or the snapshot of what happened during the week. And now comes the critical part, what we are anticipating for the next week. So as you can see, it's a daily graph of Nifty 50 index, a clear uptrending channel, except this day of intraday penetration, but largely we are holding this channel. Last week, means this week, we were anticipating that we might inch toward this upper band, which is around 22,900, 23,000 levels, but we could not surpass this hurdle of 22,750 and 800, the previous swing high. So, and plus this sharp cut on Friday, this and that too when the global markets were conducive. So we have a couple of things to keep a close eye on. Of late, which we have started observing that when the global markets are not doing well, our markets, showed some resilience and ended almost flat to positive note on those days. But when the global markets were, supportive, especially in session like today, means after the initial gap up, thanks to the global clues, we drifted gradually lower with the sharp cut in the index majors like Reliance, SDFC, L&T. So it's a kind of mixed indication that we have. The divergence basically is what something that we are observing in, in our markets and global markets. Another important aspect is that the momentum in banking, that we'll talk in detail in the next slide. So earlier we used to see a trend, especially in banking index, whenever we used to have a decisive trend, breakout. But that's not the case right now. So both these factors are currently weighing on the sentiments, and 22,750,800 first, and then 22,900, 950 second. That will continue to act as a strong hurdle for the coming week as well. See, important point to that list is that the last 3-4 days of up move, or you can say the positivity that we had, this single day has engulfed all the gains. So what it means is that though we somehow managed to hold above the short-term average, that the 20 EMA, but it's not a very decisive close. Earlier, it's a very small candles around. This was a decisive candle. When we penetrated 20 EMA, similar to this where we had the gap down, and again now this. So possibility of retesting the lower band again seems higher. So what should be the ideal way to trade in the market? See, your benchmarking should be 22,400. Earlier it was 22,300, now it's 22,400. If Nifty fails to hold 22,400, you should definitely hedge your position, especially if you are holding longs, as Nifty might inch toward the lower band, which is around 22,150 to 21,850. This, major area, 21,850. So 22,400 is the make or break. In short, जब तक आप 22,400 के ऊपर हैं, तब तक आप सेफ हैं. उसके नीचे आते ही मार्केट में दोबारा से प्रॉफिट टेकिंग आ सकती है. Now let's talk about banking. So a similar chart. Earlier we were seeing the daily graph of Nifty. Now this is the weekly one for the banking index. A similar uptrending channel. Again, attempt to test the upper band. If you remember, last week we talked about 50,200, 49,500, 50,200. So we've tested the first hurdle, but we couldn't surpass the second, means 50,200, the upper band of this rising channel. So that's the major concern, that after spending nearly 2-3 months under consolidation, we had this breakout, but again we are not seeing the decisiveness in the trend. So considering this challenge plus global clues, we feel it's prudent to be selective. Don't go overboard. Book profit as in when you get decent gains, especially in the index majors, wherein we are seeing profit taking emerging after every up move. So be very selective, especially in the banking space now. Axis, ICICI, we talked about earlier also, were among the top performers. So any dip, if we see among the top names, preference should be given the top performers. In short, means SBI from the PSU basket, ICICI, Axis. These are some of the names which one can look at if somebody is planning for long trades. Now, downside also seems capped, considering that we have this support of neckline area of this consolidation range that earlier acting as a resistance should act as a support now. So this 48,252, 47,600 zone, that will be the area where this, somewhere around this area, where Bank Nifty should find support. But as we've said that it's not about finding support, it's about helping the index to inch toward 27,000 mark. So that is the critical test for the banking index. But as of now, since indications are mixed, stay stock specific, prefer the top names if you're accumulating. Now let's talk about stocks wherein we see traction. So the first name is among the top performer from the Nifty 50 basket as well, Coal India. So it's self-explanatory why we like this stock. It was trading in a ascending triangle pattern means this lower trend line was rising, the upper trend line was flat. So it's symmetrical triangle pattern formation. This sharp up move in price, and look at the volumes. This is the volume candle. So this is definitely a clear-cut breakout, a decisive breakout, especially when the markets were not in the favor. While the index was declining, Coal India ended almost around the day's high. This is the record high zone, uh, around this 480 plus levels. So there could be a breather, but it's a clear-cut, outrightly a bullish chart. So that can be on your radar for the next week. Next, safety, defense, something that one should prefer, especially when the clues are not clear, like in situation like this. Granules from the pharma space is what something that should be on your radar. Why? Because post this, there was first breakout here from the consolidation range. Then the previous swing high, that is acting as a strong support area. And as you can see that in the multiple occasions, it's not a very decisive rebound, but yes, still a strong rebound. And again, this time around, after retesting that area, we are seeing an attempt of recovery. So this could be a stock which can witness gradual up move from the current levels. So one can keep granules on their radar as well. Lastly, not everything is great. So obviously, we need to have few shorting candidates also. So Inox, PVR Inox is basically one stock which is struggling for quite some time now. As you can see, it's a clear distribution pattern, a head and shoulder pattern that we have on the weekly chart. This was the breakdown candle followed by recovery. Again, a retest of the neckline area and then resumption of the trend. So this clearly shows that the pressure that we are seeing around 1400 zone that might continue and the stock might drift further lower in days to come. So just to sum it up, Nifty banking index, Nifty looks subdued. It might again drift lower the way we have been seeing for last 4 or 5 months. Banking comparatively better, but banking alone cannot help the index to hold like the way Nifty slipped today. Due to Reliance, HDFC, L&T, Bharti Airtel, all these big names put together. So banking is comparatively better, but Nifty is still struggling. Global clues obviously will continue to impact the sentiment. So it's going to be largely sideways to negative bias if Nifty fails to hold 22,400. So 22,400 is the make or break area for the Nifty index. Banking, stay selective, stay stock specific. Index looks okay, comparatively okay, but the alignment is something which is required to make any considerable move towards 50,200 plus zone that we've discussed earlier. Stock specific, we talked about Coal India, decisive breakout, then granules, accumulation on dip, and then again PVR, Inox for the shorting candidate. So this is all from the presentation part now. We'll do a quick feedback poll. Okay. So please fill in your feedback and then you can start posting your question using that Q&A tab. Please quickly fill this feedback, and if you are done, you can start posting your question using that Q&A button, which is there in front of your screen. Okay, so let's start with Q&A now. All right, so see, as at the beginning, we've discussed about that why we do this webinar is to share our insight, general insight about the key indices and some of the stocks which one can keep on radar for the next week. But the the idea behind this webinar is to prepare you for the next week. So stock specific queries is not going to help us prepare for the next week. In general, if you want to talk about any particular sector that you missed and which you feel that needs more elaboration, definitely we can talk about so that we can end this webinar on time. So by 4:30, just half an hour is something that we plan to wrap up everything. So, okay, so based on that, the first query that we have is from Kunal on oil marketing companies. Means it's a mixed question basically. What about crude oil stocks? So it's basically Kunal, the OMCs means oil marketing company and crude oil price both are inversely trade in general. In long term, if you talk about if the crude continues to stay higher, it's going to impact the margin of the OMCs, and that's why they trade with negative bias if it's stays at the higher level. So after this sharp rise in crude oil, again we have seen that crude oil has subsided a bit in the recent weeks. Again, we are quoting close to around $83, $84 per barrel for Brent. So that has somehow helped the OMCs to regain some of the lost momentum. And all the stocks like IOC, BPCL, HPCL, they all have done well, in a market like this. And indications are in the favor that this tone might continue. So OMCs, yes, we feel that this positive tone might continue in the coming week as well. So one can definitely keep OMCs on their radar. Okay, next we have attendee whose name is not there. A view on the IT sector. So IT is still struggling basically. Means though the major results are out, means mixed numbers reaction, as you can already see that HCL Tech was among the top loser this week. The subdued tone might continue. Good part is that downside seems capped for the IT majors. Mid-cap IT stock like Birlasoft, Persistent, Coforge, these are the names that one should avoid for a time being now. So if you are planning anything in IT from the medium to long term perspective, I feel IT majors are better candidates to look at for accumulation. Okay, next on PSU stocks and railways. So yes, again we have started seeing some of these stocks doing well, but largely the PSU stocks which are doing well is post the numbers, means post the earning announcement. Stock like PFCRAC, they are largely reacting to the earnings. Railways, though we have seen a marginal rebound, but the momentum is missing, which we have discussed in our previous webinars also. So don't get carried away with the recovery, means the kind of surge that we had in railway stocks, that is missing. So one should be very strict with the stop losses if it's a short-term position if you're planning in the railway stocks. And in PSUs also be very selective, like we discussed about Coal India. Again, post numbers, we saw this reaction. So not all stocks are witnessing traction within the PSU basket as well. जितेंद्र कुमार जी, जो हमने कोल इंडिया के बारे में शेयर किया, वो मेरा एक ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्टमेंट रिकमेंडेशन नहीं है। जस्ट मैंने आपको अपना व्यू शेयर किया कि चार्ट्स पे काफी स्ट्रांग बंद हुआ है। सो आपकी पोजीशन है, डेफिनेटली यू कैन कंसिडर एज पर योर रिस्क एपेटाइट क्या स्टॉप लॉस टारगेट आपको रखने चाहिए। ओके, सो okay, we have query for Mr. Rahul for more about midcap ID. So midcap ID, Rahul, in fact, we have had a phenomenal surge. In fact, a clear-cut outperformance when the IT majors were struggling for sustainability. Some of these names like Birlasoft, Persistent, they were making new highs, witnessing sharp up moves, KPIT Tech including. But for almost like 2-3 months now, that now we started again seeing cooling off in the midcap ID name as well, and possibilities there because we have had strong outperformance from the IT midcap IT names. If this sideways tone might continue or the negative bias may continue in the IT index, that might put pressure on the mid-cap IT names more in comparison to the IT majors, which didn't participate much. So that's the risk basically, which I was referring to, especially if somebody is planning any position in IT. Okay, PSU banking sector, Mr. Rajnikant, is okay, but just remember that it's very, very volatile. So if you exclude a couple of names, the top 3-4 names like SBI, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, rest of the names, they are highly volatile. So if you are okay with 10% kind of up move or down move in a day or two, then only you should look for buying opportunity in the PSU banking space. Rest, otherwise, you should prefer the private banking majors like Axis and ICICI. Jitendra ji, yes, you can go ahead and check our webinar on our portal YouTube पे। आप जाके रेलिगेयर ऑनलाइन सर्च करिए, रेलिगेयर बुकिंग सर्च करिए, आपको चैनल मिल जाएगा। वहां पे आपको इस वेबिनार की रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जाएगी, जिसको आप जितनी बार चाहें देख सकते हैं। Okay, so the query from Mr. Feroz for commodity calls in Telegram. So just for the information, we have this Telegram channel which is available for all. Means anybody can go and join Religare official Telegram channel. Even if you are not associated with us, you are not our clients, you can go and check. We share your recommendation, some interesting insights, other information which can be of use to you. So you can just go ahead and check. So commodities, Mr. Feroz, as of now, we have not thought of because it might clutter the channel. But eventually, yes, we'll plan that we'll have a separate channel for commodities as well. Okay, next question. From which sector should we look for next 1 to 2 weeks as election is going on? So, see, one should, have a clear view that certain events are events if there's an uncertainty. Means, just to give you an example, if interest rates are high and we are waiting, and inflation is also high, and we are waiting for RBI to reduce rate in the coming policy, is like a wish, right? Because inflation is high, so chances of doing that going for a rate cut seems is just like a hope. Similarly, the kind of move that we already seen in the market in the recent month means, despite all the negativity, we are gradually inching higher. We are currently trading closer to 23,000 mark. So that has already discounted somehow that the positivity around election. So just based on that, I feel one should not plan the trades. It should be a clear cut, uh, you know, target and stop losses if you are, buying any stock at current. Why I'm saying this? Because we are into the earning season, and any disappointment, from the earning side in be it private stock or PSUs might result in sharp cuts because the stocks have already witnessed a very sharp move. So be stock specific and be very quick with your risk management, especially in the market like this. Now coming to your question that which sector that one can look at. See, sector specific, I feel is not the right approach right now because uh, metal has already done exceptionally well. Then we have banking also, which has performed well. Then auto. So now it's going to be more of stock specific, movement across the top performers. And entire sector seems unlikely. So which sector to avoid, at least that I can share, that one should avoid, definitely avoid, IT for a time being now, wherein we are not seeing any traction, in fact, still struggling. Then we have media, which is again struggling. And yeah, these two sectors primarily. And rest selectively, yes, one can look for buying opportunities. Okay, so next question from Mr. Deepak Kumar on energy and metal. So, as Mr. Deepak, we were referring to the sectors which one can keep a close eye on. So, energy, metal, they have done pretty well. In fact, we are still seeing that OMCs are doing well, and in fact, the refiners selectively they are also performing well. And in the metal space also, today NMDC, Tata Steel, initially SAIL, they all were performing well. Hence, zinc with sharp up move in the zinc prices in copper. So, but I feel that after this sharp up move, there could be a bit of a breather in the metal space now. So, if you have existing positions, you may consider booking some profits. And in the energy space, OMCs are the better candidates. Okay, next we have Mr. Akshay Kumar on power sector. So power sector, it's like we have already seen very strong move across the board, be it the PSU or the private side, similar to what we have already seen in metals. So now it's time to at least book at least partial profits in these names and wait for some correction or consolidation. So, Mr. Benjamin, we are in the middle of this summers now, and stocks usually performs much before the season. So, if you have noticed, Volta started moving, I guess, couple of months ago. Before the beginning of the summer season. So that has already discounted. So stock like Havels, which has Lloyd AC, has also performed well. So yes, one can look for these names wherein we have this component from the consumer electrical space. But I feel the prices are already very high in most of the names. Okay, what is the contact number? See, for the instant advice on sell or purchase stock, you can get in touch with your branches or your business partner. They will definitely help you out in this. Okay, stock specific, stock specific. All right, so largely we have answered the queries. So yes, thank you everyone for joining in, and those queries which were stock specific in nature, you could not answer. If you are associated with us, you can send that those queries through our branches or through business partner. We'll definitely revert to that. And next week, same time, same place, we'll connect again. Till then, take care. Thank you.